Morning, everybody. It is 8:15. I returned. Um, Last week I had to go into work. Plus, it was a good week to go into work because one of my workers who works for me was out on vacation. It was a good week to miss because usually it's low volume. The whole summer is low volume, but particularly with July 4th and stuff like that. So anyway, I am back. It is July 10th. It's 8:15 a.m. Welcome. Without further ado, my name is Steven Gonzalez. Welcome to my channel. We use volume profile, market profile, along with supply and demand, key levels, gamma exposure levels to map out plans, scenarios for the market. Look at market structure. Try not to get fooled by price. How you doing, Wayne? And that's what we do here, right? Try to get an open mind to the market, right? I can have a bias, but that doesn't really help in trading. Okay, it helps to know where you want to go, but not an overall bias. My macro bias doesn't need to match my day trading at all. They're like disconnected. So what I might invest in might not be a day trade, right? So that's that. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. So let's get into it. Let's get into the watch list. Actually, subscribe if you haven't already. I know I haven't had many new subscribers, mainly because with my new job, I haven't had a chance to do some shorts and reels and stuff like that, which I'm lagging a little bit because my work's been a little busy. So I apologize for that. But as always, you can follow me on. Oh, I'm a little rusty here. It'd be great if you guys can give me a thumbs up, a like. That'd be wonderful. You also go follow me on social media, which is Twitter, Gonzo719. Also, you can follow me at Instagram, which is probably not the best follow right now just because of my reels. But anyways, Gonzo719 Jersey. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, we go right into the watch list. Let's do it. All right. All right, let's see what we have going on here. VIX up 3.24%. That's at 15.3. All right. We got the dollar showing a little strength. We got the Dow up 0.15. Bitcoin's up 0.12. A lot of stuff. This is basically flat, slightly up to flat. Ether's up 0.11. ES is basically flat. NQ flat. Russell flat. 10-year yield doesn't report till 8:20, but bonds being sold, which would rise the 10-year yield. Silver's down 0.23. Gold's down to 0.26. Crude with some China, I think it's contraction. They're down 0.68 after making quite a decent move on Friday. All right, let's move over to the stocks I love to day trade, right? So we have Meta is up 0.94 pre-market. Now I did see they're getting sued by Sarah Silverman and one other person. I don't think they mentioned the other person, but for not getting the rights to train or something for AI. So that's interesting, but they're up, right? Just really quickly, let me see what this news is here. I don't really see much there, but then we got Nvidia up 0.71, followed by Coins up 0.67. Now the market was down earlier, and it's pretty much recouped all those losses. So Tesla's up 0.61. Let's go to some laggards here. We got Microsoft down 0.44, Google's down 0.51. Biggest loser is Snow down 0.19, well, down 1.97, almost 2%. But that Snow's very volatile, so not very surprising. Baba had a nice Move on Friday with that ant being fined, like I think $1 billion, something like that. I know it was fined. I'm not going to give the amount because it's not going to be accurate. Moving on. Let's go to these top sector stocks, right? We got Roblox leading the pack, up 0.39, followed by Walmart, followed by Home Depot. Let's go to the bottom. There's not really laggard down here. There's not really a laggard to speak of. Let's look at our sectors. Semiconductors up 0.34. Nothing really going crazy. The only laggard is basic materials, which is really not going to move the market. I mean, a lot of flatness. I mean, if you look at the overall structure of the market, we're just in between two major levels, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so not much going on. Okay, we're also in July, so but we have big news coming up this week. We could talk about that news in a couple seconds. We can get into that now. A couple of things here. I just wanted to bring a couple newsworthy things up here. So I'm going to bring this up here. So this chart, basically how market moves happen, and here's with liquidity, right? Central banks. So we have something going on here that's finally disconnecting, and who's going to win out, right? So in black is the central bank assets. So you got Bank of China, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, the ECB, the Fed, the People's, what is that? PBOC. I guess that's Russia. Whatever. All central banks, right? The black finally getting some QT, right? You can see it right here, and the market's kind of going up. So generally speaking, you can see generally they move together, right? Liquidity from the central banks and the stock market usually goes together. However, central banks are starting to get some QT going on here, and there's a little disconnect. So have to see how this plays out, right? Very important. Liquidity is very important. It doesn't mean it has to happen. It's just an important. I thought it was something important to note, right? Now another thing, just a little newsworthy. One other thing. Give me one sec here. Is Citibank. Okay, let's go over to here. That's Citibank. Give me one second here. Just got to reset something. Reset something here. Take 2 seconds. I apologize for the delay. But that in red is basically what I wanted to bring up. So it says Citi cuts U.S. stocks to neutral from overweight. That's pretty interesting news. Okay? Cuts U.S. stocks to neutral from overweight. Is that a changing of the guard? I don't know, but it's newsworthy or noteworthy. Okay. Now let's get into some news. Okay. What do we have this week? Okay. We got a lot of Fed speak today. Fed Bar, Fed Daily, Fed Mester, right? Fed Bostic. Tomorrow we have Bullard, right? But then, obviously, Wednesday you have CPI. So obviously that's a market mover. And then you have Kashkari speaking, and Bostic speaking, and Mester speaking. Okay, so that's pretty action packed on Wednesday. Thursday, you have PPI. Okay. Friday, Michigan consumer sentiment. I have jobless claims on Thursday as well. So, but the CPI obviously is what everybody's going to be looking at. So that's for this week. You have on Friday you have bank earnings, so that should be pretty important. What else do we got here? All right. Now, one thing was in the news here. So, of course, inflation data, bank earnings know about. Now, the deflation pressures in China. Okay. So, the consumer price index was flat on the year due to accelerating drop in pork prices. Let's see. China decreased the most in more than 7 years in June, while consumer prices flirted with deflation, the latest sign of sluggishness in the world's second largest economy. So, China is not performing after all those COVID lockdowns like it should have. Okay. And oil, see, it's affecting oil because oil drops on Chinese demand concerns. Oil's prices slipped on Monday as the weak Chinese inflation data sparked fresh worries over the nascent, I think that means ascent, economic recovery of the world's largest crude importer. Maybe, Ian, maybe. Um, all right. I think we can get into the daily charts. All right. Let's see. The 10-year yield came out. Oh, by Lord. The bond market is just so disconnected from the stock market. So right now the 10-year yield, let's just go to that real quick. The 10-year yield right now is up 0.35%. It's at 4.06. The yield is 4.06 on the 10-year yield. Jesus. All right. Let's get into those daily charts. How about we do that? All right. Start with the SPY. We got a lot of topping action here. That is like we got one, two, three, four. Trying to break that 444, right? So overall, we got the most traded price of the year, the rolling year 411, right? Made a move. That 20 simple moving average is that line. Let's zoom in here. Let's zoom in here on this move here. All right. So obviously made a move, big move up, hit this 444, tried it again, gap down, made this swing low here. Basically found support at the 20 simple moving average, kind of consolidated, moved right up to this line at 438, which was resistance, right? But then we gapped up, tried to break it, couldn't. Tried to break it again, couldn't. Tried to break it again, gap down. This is what a nuts market. Gap down, right? Got some good buying excess here. Then opened down here on Friday, pushed all the way up into the middle of this range, and sold off and closed down here. What a crazy, crazy movement in this market. Okay. And where did we close? Right at this 438. So 444, 438. It's kind of like the playground, right? So underneath the AEMA, we cannot seem to break this 20 simple moving average here. So, all right. So where's the market now? We're at 438.60. So we are right here. Right here. And that just is in the middle of the middle of the muddle. All right. So let's look at the weeklies. All right. So we can see came up here, had an inside week, then basically pushed up, couldn't go higher, right? Last week, right into the middle of the week before. So we're balancing here, okay? You could see the monthlies, and let's go to the profile. So if you want to look at a profile, and you can see this is a very bullish imbalance, okay? What does that mean? Well, look at this top, okay? You can see a lot of volumes up here trying to move this most traded price down here, 436, up here to 443, right? So this is our line in the sand for the SPY, 436. You don't want to go below that. It's going to cause some weakness. If you hold above it, you'll have a chance to get excess to the top here. So it's very bullish imbalance. Just means that, shorts are up here, and more likely than not, it doesn't mean it has to happen, but you're going to get excess at the top to complete a profile, right? Doesn't mean it has to happen, okay? So very interesting. And we land right back to the daily chart. Now let's look at the Qs. Okay, so Qs have this resistance, 372. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't seem to get that, right? You can look at that. It says like a double top. All right. Let's zoom in to this move. Okay. So that 372 level is big resistance, okay? So what's happened, right? Gap up, consolidate, gap down, tried to go into the middle of this range, closed down here. Okay, what's the Qs doing now? 366. So the Qs are right around here. At the close, basically. Close to the close of Friday. Not telling you a lot. Not telling you a lot at all. Okay? So, there is some serious trends. Let's see here if I can get my trend lines right here. See this trend line? Starts with this. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. It's right there. That's a pretty key trend line. Let me show you the SPY because I think I have one drawn for the SPY too. I just want to get these in there. Let's see here. Yeah. So we have a nice little bit of a wedge here, but you can see this nice trend line in the SPY starting from here. Support, 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 and right here. So big trend lines in both the indexes. Just wanted to point that out. Let's go back to the Qs. You can see those trend lines that I was talking about. There's a long-term one here that's been holding, and the short-term one here. Okay. Let's go over to the weeklies. Okay. So you can see the Qs. Big move, swing low, double bottom here, and now we're kind of consolidating up here. Okay. This is bullish. As far as structure. All right, bullish as far as structure. But that 372 is becoming a problem. Okay. Let's look at the monthlies, right? Why is that such a big resistance? I've talked about this before. Triple top in the monthlies. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We move above it. Wow. Did we really go to all-time highs? I don't know. But that's why I believe that this resistance is so strong, right? I'm not the only one who sees this. Let's look at the profile. Same kind of deal, right? Double distribution here. Most traded price of the last month, 362, call 363. Trying to build out volume here. It was doing a very good job. Almost took it. So this is 370, right? So you got an incomplete profile to the upside. Got bullish imbalance here. Okay. That's what I'm saying. This is bullish because you moved from here, right? Couldn't go any lower, and now we're holding these prices, so that's still bullish. That's the structure. That's the structure. Okay. Moving on. Let's move on to the Dow. Now, healthcare took a little bit of a beating, along with United Healthcare, which is the largest holding. Hence, where are we at? We went right back to the most traded price of the last rolling year. What price is that? 338. Right there, 338.34, right? So let's zoom in. So you can see right there is that most traded price of the last year. Well, we're right back in the middle of that in the Dow. It's not a good place to trade, initiate a trade in the middle of all that, right? Because you got the range here. Look at that. Look at this price. If I just put it here, all that range here, all this range here, it's just not a good place to be. Okay. Let's zoom in a little more here and look at the Dow, right? Pretty garbagey looking trading. Okay, so what do we have going on here? So obviously we have good support here, 336, gapped up, tried to come down, gap down, but see the Dow is a lot weaker. So it's underneath the 20 simple moving average, right? That was resistance, resistance again right here. Boom. Closed right here. Where are we at in the Dow? 337.65. We're basically at the lows of Friday's session. Okay, so the big big level to look at is 336.22. I'm surprised I don't have an alert there. I'm going to set it now. All right, so now we got an alert there. All right, so alert set. Okay. Now let's look at the weeklies. Look at this, man. That's why I'm saying the most traded price, right? Look at this. Just loves this price, right? And look where we're at. I always say, let's look at the 10-week EMA, right? Look at this support, support, and we're at it. Last week we closed below it. Very interesting. Those are the ranges. You can see it in the monthlies, right? When you keep pulling out, you can see when you just look at this chart why this is the most traded price, right? And then all you got to do is go to the monthlies and be like, oh, okay, look at this range, right? There's the profile. Very sloppy looking price action here, but we already know that. And, most traded price of the last month, 339. Doesn't have the bullish imbalance that the SPY and the Qs have. Okay. Moving on to the Russell. Russell made an attempt, then got weak. Made an attempt and then got weak. Okay. Most traded price of the year, 173 down here. We obviously consolidated for a long time, broke out, started making new volume here, right? Let's zoom in. Let's see the price action. So basically like a double top here. Some people call that an M for murder. When you have that double top, excuse me, I don't know why my voice is doing that. So a lot of resistance here at 188.84, right? So came up there, came down to this 180.72 level, popped right back up, went right back up, sold off again, right? Gapped lower, came all the way down. What a crazy price action, right? 184.91. So we're about right here right now. Okay. So this is the only green candle, white in this case, from the indexes on Friday. Okay. So it's just this range, right? And you're right in the middle of this stuff. So not a lot of indecision. A lot of indecision. Here's the weeklies. There's that range. Look at that. 188 to 180. That's your range. That's your range. Okay. Monthlies, this is just consolidation. Big consolidation, right? And then some people say this represents our economy, right? A real economy, because it's not this huge market cap weighted index where like 7 stocks move the market. They don't really have any stocks that move their market. It just shows, small companies in America, the small caps, they're weak, right? And there we go. You can see it right here, 185.77 most trade price of the month. Very balanced profile here. Okay. All right. Now we can go to the triple-headed monster. Let's look at that 10-year yield, right? Which is just being a beast. Broke out, right? Boom. Gapped up. Now it's holding this level, right? This usually is a bad sign for the stock market. Higher yields are bad for tech, bad for equities, right? The higher the yield, the more people are going to buy bonds, right, and get out of stocks. That's typically what happens. Okay? So this is very interesting. Let's look at the weeklies just to give us where we were. We topped out at 4.3, right? Are we headed towards this double top in this weekly at 4.2? Are we headed there? If we are, the bond market's telling us it's seeing these cuts. I'm sorry, not cuts. The hikes, the Fed higher for longer. It's basically believing the Fed right now. Because as this rises, that's usually not a good sign for the stock market. Okay? So this is to be continued, right? Okay. That VIX. Now that VIX, before I was gone, I said I wanted it to see break 15. Well, it did. And it went all the way up to 17. And so now, can it hold above 16, right? So some fear is coming back into this market. Dollar. A little bit of a doji land. Dollar took a little beating. Held to 102. Dollar showing some strength today. But we have to see, right? All right, we can move over to the market profile. Move right over here because we're going to talk about what's going on in this market. And you can clearly see here, okay? Clearly see it. Let's talk about it real quick. Okay? Now the market has shown a little more weakness since we've been talking. Okay? This is a lot of indecision. All right? Now, you guys know my levels I like to look at, right? So let's look at them. The most traded price of the month, right? No stranger that's where you went here. So the most traded price of the month, 44.15. That's why the market stopped here. That level's strong. Okay, that's the strongest level. Most traded price of the month. Right there. Okay, now if we want to look at the most traded price of the week, it's up here. Okay, and what's that price? That price is 44.85. 44.85. So you got this here and this here. Okay, so we're in between these two levels, which just tells me right off the bat it's indecision. Okay, it's indecision. Market doesn't know what to do right now. Is it higher for longer? Is it a buy the dip? What do you want to do? It's a battle. Okay, so all in here is noise. I mean, I usually find something out of the stocks I trade. I didn't find much of anything to go, oh, this is a trade right now. So, like, excuse me, I'm just yawning. So, I've been doing this a decent amount of time now. From when I just see this, most traded price of the week up here, most traded price of the month down here, I already know it's indecision, right? That automatically tells me that. But then even when I go in to look for day trade opportunities today, and I just don't see nothing That's just another marker to me that goes, okay, there's not a lot to do right now. Right? It doesn't mean anything to do at all. So, and then you got this profile that's incomplete. So you got a bunch of volume down here, and you got some incomplete volume to the upside up here. So it's just ugly. Okay. So we have our big levels. That's what's holding the market basically. Okay. Most shorter price of the month, most shorter price of the week. Okay. Now, what do we want to look at now? We want to look at where are we at in relation to Friday, right? So Friday has a poor high. Okay, poor high is a market profile terminology. It just means that there's two TPOs that couldn't go higher, which means that there was longs who had poor trade location. Okay, and generally means that you're going to come up here. If you come up here and test this again, you should correct that poor high. That's all that means. Okay, so you have a poor high. That's a double top in 30-minute TPOs. So if you look at the 30-minute chart, you'll see a double top. Okay, so longs at poor location here. Now, that was a nice move, but what did we close? All the way down here, right? So we got the poor high here. We got Friday's low. Where are we in relation to that? Price is right here. So right now, we're pretty much in futures, you don't talk about gaps with the close. You talk about gaps with the low and the high. Okay, so this is a very small gap now because we were just up here. Overnight high is here. Overnight low is here. This is just indecision. Okay, now, are we holding the lower prices from Friday? Yes. So that is in the short term bearish. All right, another thing is, negates it now, but we are pretty much almost 100% net short of inventory this overnight session. Closed here, the long part of this profile. That's it. This little is the only longs in overnight. All this is short. Okay, now normally I would be really excited if we were down here. If we were down there, I'd wanted to see it move down here so then I can go long. Right? But now that's negated. Why? Because look at this profile and we're kind of like in the middle of it. So the shorts have already been taken out here. Now the longs have been taken out of here because the price went all the way up to here and now we're back here. So it's a very indecisive, right? So we have an overall indecisive market. And now we have indecisiveness overnight. The only thing that is decisive is that we closed here and we're holding lower prices. Okay? This is why the market profile, these levels shape. This makes me not interested in anything right now where price is. It just makes me uninterested. There's not a lot of edge. Okay, it is really not. You can trade all you want any minute of the day, right? But you want to trade when there's edge or when you have your personal edge, which you like to trade. Now, if you're a scalper, what I'm saying doesn't mean anything to you. Okay? Because you're going to trade for points, little scalps here and there. Okay? So basically, what we're looking at is you always want to see where the most pain is. Okay? So it's going to be very basic today for as far as like any kind of plan. So let's just really quickly, we'll go over it. There's not a lot of rocket science to this right now. Okay, so what do we have here? This is the bottom of the range. Okay, most traded price of the month's down here, and we have a demand zone. So it's very easy. You come in here and you go into this demand and you go above and start holding, right, this level. Well, I mean, the most people are who are going to be in pain are who? Shorts all from up here. Shorts, right? So market could technically go all the way up to the most traded price of Friday and maybe go back to the other end, right? That's really that's how easy that is. Does it mean it has to do that? Nope. But that's the only thing that would make me start to be on notice if we come down here. Okay? All right. So as far as like any kind of bearish play, well, if the market does come down to this area, and what does it do? And if it takes it out, holds underneath that big level, takes out this demand and starts holding, right? Well, you could start making a move to here, right? That could change the market because you break this level, that might make certain longs who buy in a dip waiting to get cautious, or people who want to take profits. Okay, and of course, market could also come up to here in this area, push up to this supply, and then then you short it again. So it's the edge game today, really. And you just have to wait for what the market's going to tell you. That's really it. Okay, what the market's going to tell us. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Okay, let's look at the Nasdaq. In the futures, the profile is a little prettier, a little more balanced. Okay, but again, we have the same thing with the most traded price of the week up here and the most traded price of the month down here. Okay, what's the most traded price of the month? 15120. Okay, so that's our line in the sand, right? What's our most traded price of the week? 153.70 is the most traded price of the week. Okay, but same kind of deal like in the SPY or in the ES, right? Big level down here, it's being held. Top of the level, most traded price of the week here. Market's in balance, right? We're in between these two big levels. It's a lot of noise here. All right, let's look at where the market is in relation to Friday. So you have another poor high here in the Nasdaq. The Friday's lows, right? Overnight low, overnight high. Okay, you did have almost 100% net short, but that doesn't matter, right? Why? Because we're in the basically close to the middle of the session. It's very balanced. Again, for the short term, this is where we closed. This is where price is. So people right now, the prices are being accepted lower, so that is bearish. Okay, so you have to see there's like micro bearish, in the little bit of like in relation to Friday, this is bearish, right? Where the market's saying, hey, we're accepting the lower prices. In the grand scheme, you need to break out of here to be bearish. So there's always these little time frames that you have to look at, right? And then put them all together. Okay, so basically we have our, can the bulls break out of here? Can the bears break this? But we're in a kind of a chop zone, and you just need to see what we're gonna do, right? We're in a noisy area. Okay, so same thing applies for the Nasdaq that I just spoke about. Very easy to determine a plan. Okay, it's not. This is pretty. I like it when it's pretty basic, and you have this balance area because it makes you just want to wait for the edge. It makes you want to wait. So for anybody who wants buy dips or whatever, Nasdaq has to break this and hold under it. If it does something like this, goes back into this demand zone, it pops above here, well, we start holding. Well, just like in the ES, we could turn right back and go right back here. Okay, and then this would be the next determining factor for the market, because now you're at the most traded price of the week. Do you hold it and possibly get the breakout? Don't know. Don't know. But right now, this is the range we're in. Okay, until we break out of it, and nobody ever knows when the breakout's going to happen. Okay. As far as the bearish side, right? If the market does come up here into this supply zone, well, is it going to be easy to just go? No. Market could come back down, right? Well, what's got to happen down here? Well, market's got to prove that sellers have strength. So it would need to break this level, hold under it, probably break this demand to hold under it, keep holding here, and to possibly go down to this key support level here. That changes things. Hold under this level, that changes things, right? So that's basically what I'm seeing in the market, right? We can look at one other thing here just to give some clarity. Let's look at the ES. Now you can see, this is why I love seeing this, right? Big node here. This is where we're at, okay? See this node? 44.19, right? See how this is the most traded price of this week, this week, this week, right? And then that made it the most traded price of the month. That's what we're at here. So if we break this, like I just said, we're going to go down to here. That's how the market works. Okay, if we hold it, we're going to go to here. That's why I love this chart. You easily see, with 4-hour candles. Okay, NASDAQ, you're going to see a very similar situation. Okay, where are we now? Big node here, right? Look at that price, 151.20. We're right here. So if we lose this area here, you're going to go down here, test this area. If you hold it, we're probably going right back here. Okay, that's how it works. Hope that makes sense to everybody. All right, one last thing before I go. We'll look at the hourly chart just to get a different perspective on it. Okay, just give you a different perspective on the market. There's that trend line. I'll just show you in the futures too. Okay, so let's go over to that hourly charts here. That was the wrong thing I put up there. Let's look at the hourly charts. All right, so you got a trend line, as I talked about already, right? So it's right from here, boom, boom. That's why we had a nice, whenever you get a trend line like this, you know it's being honored, okay? So that's being honored. Zoom in. This is what the market's doing in futures, right? Right off the trend line, right at the most traded price of the month, the market has popped down here and it has moved up on this hourly chart, right? You can see some selling now happening. Okay, this is the 20 simple moving average right here in the futures. That's what's been happening. What I did is I put a fib from this move down to here, right? So the 50% is 44.4443 right here. So can it take back half of this move? I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay. Here's the Nasdaq's trend. Started here, right? Boom. Swing low. Boom. Hit that trend again. Where is it at? The most traded price of the month. We're now above that. Right? Let's zoom in. So again, most traded price of the month, we're holding above it, right? That's going to be bullish until we take it out. So do we move to the other end of this range? Don't know. Put a Fibonacci right here down to this level, to this trend line, and that's 152.18. Right? I just have that set an alert here. That's just going to let me know, okay, half this move's been taken back or it hasn't. So just wanted to show you guys those hourly charts. And that's going to be it for me. Like I said, not a lot of edge right now until one of those levels hold. We test those big levels. There's really not a lot to see otherwise. So again, subscribe if you haven't already. Right, set an alert. That'd mean a lot to me. Give me a big thumbs up. Likes always help me. Right, you guys already know about my social media. All right, so you got the plan. It's basically today. Do we test the most traded price of the month? Do we go back up to the other side of balance? Right, you want to go where the most pain is. We do have poor highs from Friday, which do they get corrected? Basically a double top on a 30-minute chart. So we have to see. Wish everybody luck today. Wish everybody stays green today. Remember, it's July, but we do have a big week of news. All right. I just saw some large orders hitting the tape. I don't know why that is. It's 9:01. Now there is one thing. Okay, there is one thing here. Let's just really quickly to be careful at 10 a.m. I wanted to mention this. Oh, not today. Not today. Why did I put that? Why did I think today at 10? Not 10 a.m. There's a lot of Fed speak today. Just be careful at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Okay? I think I was confusing it with another day by 10 a.m. I thought there was news dropping at 10 a.m. That's my bad. Anyway, everybody had a good day. And if you don't hear from me, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Take it easy.